Hey gang, Spada here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Cliffjumper. Now this is the official release of Cliffjumper. This is actually a completely different figure from the first edition figure that I have already reviewed. Picked this guy up at ToysRUs.com. Totally love the picture up here on the side of Cliffjumper with his guns. Very, very cool. Box is really nice. Like I said, I love the red and white look of these new boxes. Picture of the figure with his bio up top. Technical specs. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a look.
And here we have Cliffjumper out of the box. Now you will notice it does look a little bit different than the FE version, which I have right here, which we will be taking a look at as well. It is a very nice looking vehicle, and like a lot of the other Transformers Prime figures, there is multiple spots for multiple weapons, chief of which is the spot up here on the top of the roof, and then we have another spot right here on the side for another weapon. You can actually also attach the Mech Tech weapons from the Dark of the Moon Deluxe line. They will also fit as well. Now, I was talking about comparisons, and, well, it definitely looks different than the FE version, or the first edition version of Cliffjumper. The vehicle mode is much smaller. It is, well, not significantly, but it is noticeable. And a little bit of this transformation there. There we go. And the detailing is different. Thankfully, both of the wheels are painted, and the paint schemes are about the same. Now, I like the paint schemes on this guy better. That is the full RID version, as opposed to the FE version, but I like the mold of the FE version in this mode a lot better. That's just my opinion. I think the FE version in car mode looks significantly better. So let's go ahead and look at the transformation.
So Cliffjumper's transformation is significantly different than FE Cliffjumper. These guys aren't even similar. I mean, different parts end up in different places, though I will admit there is a really cool transformation bit for the arms that are exactly the same as the legs for the FE version. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing you're going to do is come to the back of the vehicle and just kind of pull it apart, just the back, just enough so that you unpeg the trunk. And then the trunk will lift up and over the rear windscreen or windshield. And then what you're going to do is reach kind of to the sides here and see, this is a little bit, I'm sorry, my cat is going crazy. What you're going to do is this part, this rear roof line needs to come up. So to do that, we're going to have to just kind of force it up. Just kind of get your nail in there and pop it up. This little piece of plastic right here gets in the way and prevents you from really just pulling it up easily, so you kind of have to force it. And then just pull that all the way up like that. Next, the rear wheel wells. Reach underneath the wheels and grab what are going to be the robot feet and just unfold the bottoms of the legs. Now, you do have to unpeg it from the inside door of the door, but that's okay. Once we do that, grab the whole rear assembly and turn it 180 degrees, and then take the feet and fold them so that they're pointing, the silver part is pointing straight up, and then rotate them 180 degrees. A little annoying, I know, but whatever. Then take the wheel wells and rotate them 180 degrees. Already, this is completely different than FE Deluxe Cliffjumper. So there we have the bottom part of the figure transformed. It's all done. Next, for the top bit. Now, this is a little weird. What you're going to do is just get your thumbs above the wheels and push down. That will free up the hood. So then we can fold the hood back completely and tuck it up underneath the rear roof line. Now, before you do that, where the horns are, the horns have a tiny little soft plastic peg that will peg in to the rear, right underneath the rear roof line. It's really hard to see, and I can't really get it on camera, but there is a peg there. It just sits. It's a nice big peg hole that it just sits on. So there you go. And that's just to keep it from flopping around. Next, and here's where some auto transformation occurs. But before we get to that, we'll need to take the bumpers or the front fascia, just kind of fold it open, and then pull out these bits. And then when we pull down the shoulders down, we get some auto transformation there. So there we go. Next, we're just going to start playing around until we can get the arms formed correctly. So what I like to do is take the bumpers and fold them so they're pointing straight up. That allows you to kind of do this weird Batman flying pose. So this is the part of the transformation that it shares with FE Cliffjumper. To form the legs, you had to take the foot, point it straight up, and then you could close the inner leg down. Same thing happens here. We're going to take the fist, point it so it is pointing straight up or down, and then we can close the arm, and it will just kind of snugly grab the other side, fold the fist forward, and collapse the windshield. Do the same thing over here. Fist down, close it in, collapse the windshield. There we go. And now the last thing to do is simply just get everything lined up. Just fold the wheels down so they're pointing to the back, and then fold the arms in the correct orientation. And that is it. That's all you got to do. The posability for this version of Cliffjumper is almost exactly the same as his first edition brother. Head is on a very limited ball joint. You get some side-to-side movement and some up and down, but unfortunately, his horns are of super soft plastic. I mean really, really soft plastic. The horns on the first edition figure were not nearly that soft. There is a limited ball joint here in the shoulder, which you can get a lot of movement. You can get some movement out, I should say, not a lot. There is a swivel joint just underneath that. There is a double hinge joint here in the elbow. I use quotes there because it really is limited. Just because of the robot or the car kibble hanging off, or I'm sorry, because of the doors and the car kibble. But you can get some decent poses out of it. Legs, hip joint is a ball joint. There's some swivel. There is actually, as you can see here, attached underneath the ball joint is a swivel. But it is limited. It's not 180, or I should say 360. There is a nice knee joint because that's part of the transformation. Then the feet are on a ball joint attached to a hinge. So you can get some decent poses out of this guy as well. Deluxe Class Cliffjumper is a good figure. Don't get me wrong. He is actually a lot of fun, and he is a lot of good things. Though compared to the first edition figure, he really doesn't hold a candle. I'm sorry to say. I still like the figure a lot, but I adore the first edition figure. This figure, I can obviously see what they're going for. They're going to repaint this thing into the Terracon or Dark Energon infected Cliffjumper, and that is going to be perfect. Just with all the damage and the evil Dark Energon coursing through him, it completely changes the figure, and I really want to get that figure. The other issue I really have with this guy is he just looks bulky. He looks like he's just got a lot of extra stuff that didn't need to be there. Now, as you can see, the first edition figure, besides the little thing hanging off his butt, actually looks really clean and is much more show accurate. The RID figure is not quite there, which makes me think that this should only be repainted as a Terracon, because the Terracon was messed up. Also, the Deluxe RID figure doesn't have the guns. I mean, on the character box, it has guns in his arm, which the FE figure, or the first edition figure, has. That's a huge oversight, in my opinion. But other than that, it's a pretty darn good figure on its own. I really do like it. I just think that the FE figure is a much better buy, and if you had to choose, I'd get the first edition figure now, and then wait for Hasbro to repaint Cliffjumper as a Terracon, because I think this mold is going to make an evil Cliffjumper much, much cooler.